One of the most prominent chart analysts in the whole cryptocurrency world, who has 1.2 million followers on X, recently referred to XRP as the moron trade. It's true that he called XRP the moron trade. He also has a history of having a negative opinion about XRP. In light of this, you may be shocked to hear that I do in fact concur with his description of XRP as the stupid trade, and I do agree with him in several ways. The individual on your screen is none other than former Goldman Sachs executive Raoul Pal. In addition to being the creator and CEO of Real Vision and Global Macro Investor, he is among the most perceptive individuals in the entire Bitcoin space. I think I've been admiring him for almost 5 years. I've talked a lot on this channel about how Bitcoin and the whole crypto asset class follow global M2, and it's thanks to him that I completely see what's going on and what the ramifications are. That understanding is due to that person on your TV. He is also right in a lot of significant ways. However, that does not imply that he is always correct. He is correct on many important points, but not all of them. No one is, and neither am I. In addition, he has taught more people about some basic topics than nearly anybody else in the profession. Knowing these things is crucial if you want to make a lot of money with cryptocurrencies. To set the stage for everyone to appreciate Raoul Pal's experience with XRP, I want to draw attention to this topic right now. This was the first thing I brought up on August 21st of last year. How much did XRP cost back then? It was probably a bit less than 50 cents, or maybe a little more. That was a lot less expensive back then than it is now. According to Raoul Pal, the headline stated, XRP enthusiasts are being misled by a cult-like mentality. At the time, Raoul Pal made this claim, which obviously did not hold up over time. But like I said before, nobody is always correct. This is a transcription of what he said in a video that he made. He remarked, "You might be right. You might love XRP forever. XRP is acting as though it were in 2 bull markets ago. Please proceed to whatever is gaining the most traction. I am aware of your fear. This time, it will be the big one. A lot of notifications will be sent to help you get back in. But you'll miss the bull market because you're mired in the past. There are a lot of people in the community. Being a part of a cult is bad, but I don't want to be the target of online abuse. As mercenaries, we are hired. We are here to make money, not to be a cult. The only people who profit from cults are their leaders. I am aware that using terms like Cardano, XRP, and so forth could offend people. Hope is not an investment. But I sincerely hope you're right." That statement clearly did not hold up over time. Like rotten milk, it grew old. Yes, we all know it to be true. I think he overreacted when he referred to it as a cult mindset. For very important and basic reasons, a large number of sensible people backed XRP. Therefore, you had better be referring to the poisonous Bitcoin maximalist out there if you're going to use the word cult. They are the only group in cryptocurrency that merits the moniker of cult. The true cult mindset is not in XRP, but rather there. People don't invest in XRP because of cult mentality or religion, but rather because it is a legitimately attractive investment opportunity. Just ordinary investors are involved. Bitcoin maximalists are responsible for whatever cult-like conduct you may discuss. I think that was a bit much. I was also taken aback when he stated, I'm quoting here, that you will receive a signal to reinvest if XRP does begin to move. My God, that sounds like something newbies do, I thought. He is also not a novice. Making sure you have exposure and enduring the highs and lows is what you desire. The best financial advice, in my opinion, is to just buy and do nothing else. You guys are free to do as you choose. I'm not advising anyone to purchase or sell, but for me, buying and holding was the best course of action. After purchasing assets, I did nothing for years. In comparison to my original investment, those assets are now worth a fortune. And that was before the current bull run of euphoria. Being an XRP holder and participating in the cryptocurrency space has never excited me more. I was therefore taken aback by his earlier remarks. To his credit, as one might anticipate from a man of his caliber, he was modest about the spike in XRP. He acknowledged his error. The headline reads, Raoul Pal acknowledges he was mistaken about XRP, celebrates 400% growth. He stated plainly, you were right, I was wrong, in a post on X, previously Twitter. Since then, he has been in favor of XRP. For this reason, I was taken aback by what I saw in a post made by Ripple Van Winkle, a member of the XRP community, this morning. I have never seen one person flip-flop so much on a single asset, Ripple Van Winkle remarked. Raoul Pal is now referring to XRP as the moron trade. I was interested in that, really, I thought. In December, following the start of XRP's surge, Raoul Pal finally acknowledged that he was mistaken. He admitted that XRP may grow greatly from here in a number of updates I saw from him throughout 2025. Does he now refer to it as the MORON trade? I therefore listened to the video and noted some of the pertinent passages. This is what he said in reality. Because XRP, Doge, and Cardano are inexpensive in terms of the token price, people will purchase them whether you like it or not. I didn't transcribe the portion of the transcript when he talked about other subjects that weren't pertinent to this discussion. The MORON trade, which is always a good one, is just buying the cheapest thing in the top 10, he continued. I'll now demonstrate the MORON trade for you. And I'm not saying that owning them makes people stupid. I'm referring to the time when individual investors enter the market. What do they examine? Crypto is new to you. Welcome to the world of cryptocurrency. The price of Bitcoin is $116,000. My God. That is beyond my means.
Ethereum is rather pricey.
Oh, $3 is the price of XRP? I can have a little of that.
You see what occurs because we have all experienced it.
In fact, it is what he said. My response to that is as follows. Raoul Pal did not flip-flop, I wrote to Ripple Van Winkle. He was explaining how tokens with lower prices attract more to novice cryptocurrency buyers. On that, I completely concur with him. He referred to it as the MORON trade. He took care to make it clear that he was not referring to ordinary retail holders of XRP. Now, people, I don't know about you, but I'm ecstatic about how cheap XRP is per unit. I share this viewpoint. I do think there'll be a lot of new investors that don't know exactly what they're doing. They wish to amass a large quantity of a token, and XRP's enormous supply allows them to obtain a lot more units than other valuable assets. That's amazing. If anything, this demand will raise the price of XRP to an undetermined extent. I don't know if it'll be a little rise or a big one. However, we benefit when shopping FOMO sets in. Admitting that has nothing wrong with it. As I shall show later, Bitcoin aficionados are actually envious of that, to have the same advantage. They wish they had a smaller unit. Therefore, it's excellent to recognize this. However, that does not imply that experienced investors, like you and I, are grouped with those beginners. We understand the basics of XRP, which is why we purchase it. I'm talking in general terms, but I'm willing to wager that the majority of you listening have been invested in XRP for years because you have studied and comprehended its tremendous potential. You are aware that it is unlikely to vanish. Additionally, I assume you are aware that new investors, some of whom have already arrived, will be unaware of what you and I already know. They will make emotional and psychological blunders and chase after green candles when they buy. The price of various assets, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and others, is determined by this behavior. Everyone tries to catch a glimpse of the green candle. That's a distinct perspective and level of expertise. However, such novices can grow from their errors. I made a stupid decision buying XRP at the peak based purely on emotion, they may realize. However, after doing some research and learning about market cycles and utility, they choose to hold. I was also new once. I began purchasing at the close of 2017. I initially purchased XRP for about 21 cents. However, that was close to the cycle's conclusion. In 2018, during the bear market, I started doing a lot of dollar cost averaging. After doing some study, I came to certain conclusions. The same is now possible for new investors. Everybody starts somewhere. Raoul Pal was quite right when he said that. Newcomers follow whatever is popular right now. They purchase the asset that best suits their budget, in this case, XRP. It's a good thing that he is correct. This reality makes me very happy. In fact, Raoul Pal only said exactly in response to my question. Thus, my assessment was correct. It surprises me that Ripple Van Winkle took a different view of it, but he viewed it that way. Then Ripple Van Winkle asked me if I believed Raoul Pal was demeaning XRP once more. No, I replied. Raoul Pal is absolutely right about shopping behavior. Because they lack a thorough understanding of cryptocurrency, retail investors will purchase less expensive solutions. Many people still believe that more coins equate to greater investments. That isn't important. What matters is the multiplier on the investment. Regarding retail's actions and occasionally absurd thinking, I concur with him. However, I don't believe he was making fun of XRP in general. I'm not saying people are moronic for owning them, he stated clearly. Yes, it is evident. I responded to him by saying, it's clear he was not talking down to knowledgeable holders like us to further highlight this point. He spoke plainly and without irony. Since late 2020, Raoul Pal has been the owner of XRP personally. To be sure, he doesn't think of himself as a fool for doing so. He was accurate in his description of what he refers to as the MORON trade. And for good reason. XRP is quite inexpensive per unit. That's just the case. He refers to those new to cryptocurrency and finance who are inexperienced and make bad choices as being in the moron trade. I'm hoping they take those errors to heart. Eventually, those who stay learn. Everybody must begin somewhere. You will probably make a lot of blunders when you first start. Admitting that is reality, and there is nothing wrong with that. I'm a real person, do you? I'm hoping so. For nearly 5 years, Raoul Pal has owned XRP. I thus trust him when he says he is not calling holders idiots. He is one of us. I'm defending him here for that reason. Bitcoin maximalists, meanwhile, wish they were in our shoes. A story about that was published on May 10, 2021. Crypto exchanges ought to display Bitcoin pricing in Satoshis rather than whole Bitcoins, according to Mike Novogratz, CEO of Galaxy Digital. To put things in perspective, one Bitcoin may be divided into 100 million small pieces, often known as Satoshis or sats. The method for XRP is similar, but it is divided into 1 million units or drops. According to Novogratz, displaying Bitcoin values in sats would make it appear more approachable and less costly. It's time to switch to Satoshis, he remarked. Too many people tell me that Bitcoin is too costly at $58,000. In sats, which exchange will be the first to be quoted? Critics sometimes make fun of XRP investors by claiming that people only purchase XRP because to its low price, which is absurd. Numerous knowledgeable investors are aware of XRP's potential. While it is true that some Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP buyers lack knowledge, this is not always the case. This is not the reason why everyone purchases XRP, as the poisonous Bitcoin maximalists like to say. Nevertheless, the low unit price of XRP is a benefit, and Bitcoin maximalists are envious of this fact. That's the story then.